Okay, looks like it's Ryan Widow, Diva,
Genji,
What do we got?
Zen.
Okay, so what does Diva bring to the table that Zarya doesn't?
Just like the spam.
Matrix.
Matrix
what-
and getting rid of spam, and then getting rid of people who are high ground, contesting
Okay.
people who are on high ground.
Okay, high ground contest. So how does your Reinhardt? How should your Reinhardt play with a Diva as opposed to a Zarya?
Aggressive?
What is it?
Less aggressive, I would say.
Okay, sure, less aggressive. Why?
Because he doesn't have the bubble.
He doesn't have bubble.
Yeah, no.
As a Diva, is your priority matrixing your Rein or matrixing your DPS with this composition that we're running?
Peeling for supports, DPS.
Well, you probably don't have to worry so much about peeling at this map, but let's say just for this point, what should your Diva be matrix? Put it that way. Assuming there's no major spam.
Assuming no major spam, just support.
TPS them so they could get
Diva should be matrixing your Widow.
Okay.
The Widow needs to be grappling into high ground looking for an opportunity, and if she plays more aggressively, she needs to let her Diva know so the Diva can matrix. Ryan should be playing more passive, looking for opportunities.
Shouldn't wait, can I just say something? Shouldn't Widow be playing more hidden so the Diva doesn't give her away her position?
Depends. If they don't have anything in terms of, if they don't have a Diva, Genji, whatever, contesting the high ground, then Widow can grapple aggressively. Like if they're running a Widow in the back, and your Widow wants to take that 1v1, she needs to be taking defense me. Just giving it just a general advice. All this is going to subject to change based off of what they're running. Alrighty. We've got Nanoblade, we've got Trance, we've got some decent ults. Alright, let me listen to comms real quick.
Not in the window.
Alright.
McCree on the right.
Okay, I'm going top. I got Diana.
So the first thing that you guys want to practice in terms of communication, I heard some good comms about Genji, and I've heard some good comms about McCree.
Genji was alive. I mistakenly said Genji instead of Hanzo.
That's fine. Doesn't matter. Whatever. It's a slip of the tongue. It doesn't matter. So the first thing that has to be communicated is what.
Recon.
Whoops. Is right. Exactly. Everything they're running. The supports everything, because at this level of gameplay, every single thing. If they're running on a Mercy, that means they've got a lot of heals, right? And so they're going to outpoke you guys. If they're running Zen Lucio, well, that means that you guys can just focus down the tanks and they won't be able to support the tanks. So like that sort of communication is important. So I appreciate that Hanzo or Genji, whatever is called out, and McCree, but there needs to be more than that.
Like location-wise too, right?
Location is helpful, just as long as it's not something like Ryan Zarya choke. That's not helpful information. That's obvious.
Yeah, I got you.
But yes. So like, I don't know where your Widow is.
I said that I went top.
You went up top. So this is what I'm talking about in terms of Matrix. Widow gets a really nice pick, but there's not any communication for your Diva to help your Widow, and look what your Diva's doing right now. Is she finding a ton of value doing this right now? No. Ryan Diva is at an inherent disadvantage compared to Ryan Zarya. Not only because the Ryan Zarya enables the Reinhardt more, but in a 1v1 or in a team-based standpoint, Zarya counters Diva in terms of the 1v1. So if Ryan drops shield, Zarya is going to be doing a lot more than this is good. This is unfortunate, right? It's okay. So this is not all on your Diva. This is also a little bit on your Widow. Your Widow needs to be speaking up.
There's no heals against me.
Right now, Hassan, let's hold up.
I'm gonna listen to calls really quick here.
I got Diana.
Reloading.
Good focus.
Right now, Hassan, let's hold up.
I also appreciate what your Genji is doing as well. Oh, he is. This is good. This is good, especially if he hasn't used his dash yet. He's able to get behind the range shield.
Oh, I was waiting for a target. That's what I was waiting for.
You're good, the Genji?
Yeah.
I said this is good. This is fine. I mean, if there's nothing contesting you and you haven't used dash, then this is fine, because this gives you value that no other DPS could, right? Because you should be looking at your hero and going, why am I playing this hero? What can I bring to the table with Genji that I could? Because if you're playing Genji like right here, you might as well just be playing Hanzo, right? So this is good. Good. This is one of the reasons why you kill that Rhine is because of the Genji being able to wall climb.
Oh. Did both of their DPS
I'm down.
Unlucky.
both of their DPS on point?
Hanzo one. Discorded.
So comms were pretty decent mid fight, but then they kind of die off here.
Oh. Did both of their DPS
I'm down,
on
I'm down.
point? Both of their DPS on point.
Hanzo one. Discorded.
Can I just say something?
Yes, absolutely.
So let me play back a little bit.
Yep.
So, I didn't know what Ryan's intentions were,
Mm-hmm.
because he's like very unsure as soon as he gets over to that point, and then you have like no purpose of being here.
Right.
So-
Here's the thing with the Rhine. You just have to put yourself at a fundamental level. Excuse me. You have to put yourself at a fundamental level between the enemy's DPS, like just
Mhm.
forehead, right? So he charges in here, which I'm not a huge fan of to begin with. You should have just isolated when he charges in this direction. What this means is that yes, that he will be able to swing his hammer if he needs to, but now there's an open gap, right? There's an open lane right here for anything that's in the choker. So Ryan should have just hard shielded and just cleared out the point. He doesn't need to kill the Hanzo. He just needs to make sure that the Ana can rotate safely to point, and the Zenyatta can as well.
Can I say something? There's I think the Zarya and the Ryan were coming back, and I tried to they kind of make sure they didn't help their to.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Like there's always a reason why you do things. It's not like, oh, this is just me being an idiot, right? There's a reason why you did it. Just that reason isn't always a good reason compared to what you.
Yeah.
So I don't think you knew the Hanzo was there. And I think that's my best guess is that you didn't even know the Hanzo was there. So it's a little bit unlucky. A little bit of better scouting, a little bit of better communication, and a little bit of better decision making in your main tank would mean that this is a guaranteed one fight. As of now, you guys have spawn advantage. You should theoretically win this.
I don't think so. We didn't win this.
No, we lost it. We lost this fight.
Right.
DPS weren't being quite contested as usual.
Not even peek.
I'm respawning now.
Well, it was a series of unfortunate.
Mhm.
You know, Diva does not defend Matrix Widow. Widow gets picked early. You guys go in, you get picks. Ryan overextends, doesn't realize the Hanzo's there. Your Diva unfortunately isn't able to finish off the McCree.
But shouldn't we shouldn't we bring the fight to point, not just like going somewhere off and
Yes.
then not focusing on the objective?
Yes. Yeah, you should always bring, especially when you're talking about a hero like Hanzo with his lunge. He's just going to be able to kite most of your team, unless it's like he's going to be able to kite you guys. You guys don't have a Lucio, so you should be taking fight to point, and then let your Widow and Genji take angle.
Plus that previous Ryan position was not necessary while you were the way to the right. Because
he was over here.
the enemy spot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like I said, he explained his reasoning for it.
Yeah, he assumed. I'm thinking he assumed that he had all of his teammates, and that's necessary if you have all of your teammates. But in this case, you have 3 people alive, which
Right.
is Zen and Ziva and Ryan.
Right.
And
right.
you should
If it
always
hit-
play passively.
Right. If it had been just the McCree, then that would have been fine. What Lucio did, but I don't think.
But I think just awareness needs to be pointed out.
Yeah, that's fine. Awareness is a skill that everybody needs to be improving in. And the problem with main tank is that if you mess up your awareness one time, it's very obvious. Like what main tanks obviously lack a need for mechanical skill more than made up for in awareness and positioning. It's much more important in main tank than it is with other heroes.
Makilo.
A good nade.
Rotate point.
I'm gonna hear comms here.
Are those top right?
Someone's asleep.
Nice. Going south again?
Big anti.
We're again.
Makilo.
Right. Is this the Widow calling this out right here?
Big anti.
We're again.
Makilo.
That's Iron, I'm pretty sure.
Wait,
No,
hold
no,
on.
no,
One-
going-
Low is.
Yeah.
I'm talking about going up top. I'm going. Listen carefully.
Oh yeah, that was me.
South again?
Big anti.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah, that was
normally that would be your cue for Diva to try and poke and pop some defense up there, depending on what they have. If the McCree's still alive, so what is still alive. The exception here is obviously your Ryan is critical, so obviously that would not be the plan. But just That was good
Okay.
of you as Widow, and if that is something you guys want to continue doing, then that needs to be D.Va's job there. Obviously, right now, definitely not, but in the future, that was a good call.
Okay.
Okay.
Makulo, Makulo.
Nice. Nice point. Rotate point. Rotate point.
No.
Yeah, I'm not, yeah, I wasn't sure about that either.
You had time to heal him.
Right. Time
Yeah.
to heal him. You're up 2. You're up 2. He's hard shielded. Absolutely no.
Point. Rotate point. Why nano? Why nano?
Plus, it's unnecessary because we already won the point
Yep.
fight.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think Lucio says it there. Why Nano?
Yeah, he says why nano.
It happens. Mistakes happen.
Zarya Zen.
Like I said, the nano is because to ensure the fight and to heal up the Rhine because they didn't have nade. Not a good reason, but there's a reason. Like you guys aren't idiots. Like there's a reason for it. It just takes practice to figure out what are good reasons and what are bad reasons. And that was a bad reason.
One.
Exactly.
You get him.
Honest lowish.
Alright, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna start. We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
get the
main.
stagger kills if I can.
I find this actually pretty amusing. How defensive that Ana was. There wasn't really any reason for it.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to. It's kind of funny.
Main. They're going high ground.
All right, so this is where we need to be checking picks. You need to be pressing tab. Let's listen to see if you guys do that.
I'll just top
I'm gonna get on Hanzo.
Arzen needs help. Zarya's on. Zarya.
He's one. You get him.
honest lowish.
Alright, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna start. We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
get the
main.
stagger kills if I can.
We're going main, guys. And you're gonna use
Yeah,
sides
huh?
anyway. Yeah. Use sides. You see them?
Okay, so it looks like you guys are, at least this person is hitting tab, but it should be a habit of everybody, especially the person who's taking lead of comms. That doesn't have to be one person, but anybody who considers himself a leader, you need to be checking tab between every single team fight, especially on 2CP, and checking any switches. You know, this could be an important switch. I don't know what they were running before, but that's, I don't know if, were they running Brig? I don't know.
They were.
They were.
Same comp.
They're-
Okay, so same comp. So just saying no switches, and then at this point you probably want to be thinking about what ults they're going to be. What their ults are probably going to have Grav.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we
Probably
call it out right after this.
Okay, I do like that. There's discussion right now about like what the plan is. That's good.
Go main.
Go main, fine, sure.
Oh my god, nice heal.
I have a question.
Yes,
So, I mean, just for the Widow,
yes.
why would you play on the windows? Like, were you looking for a bait for the Doomfist dive?
Because I saw the McCree going top right, and I used sights just for that, so I could headshot him as soon as he pokes me.
Yeah,
but he didn't poke me until the
you're gonna get punished either way. Do you realize that?
Shoot, I missed it.
There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the play itself. It just needs to be supported. So right now you have the Diva still, okay,
Mhm.
and Diva's fine in second.
And there's a comm error. You need
So,
to say when you're gonna go to the window.
If Widow's gonna be here and she's not gonna be here, if she's here, there's no problem. She can just drop down. Because she's here, she's going. If she gets pressured, like you said, she's going to die. So what needs to happen here is there needs to be a communication that you're going to use her grapple for a peek and Diva follow. All right, so this composition's got a little weird. Not lie. One thing I want to see communicated a lot more is not just okay, you can see, but we're just gonna have to roll with it. Is not only when the enemy team is making switches, so that has not been communicated, but also secondly that you need to be making communications when you're switching yourself. Even if Zen to Lucio, Genji Tracer, that needs to be communicated because that changes how your team plays. It's not just how you play; it's how your entire team plays. Because when Ryan is playing with a Lucio, he's going to be utilizing the speed boost, right? You're obviously utilizing the speed boost in and out. You can, speed up your engagements. The poke battle is less important, less powerful. In addition, your Rhine will not and should not be initiating until Tracer's in position, right? Because Tracer doesn't just play frontline. She's got to go around. She's got to find flank. She's got to find angle. And if she's going all the way around on a map like Hanamura, she's going to need time because she doesn't want to initiate a fight until she's in position and she has at least 2 blinks, preferably 3. So things like that, that's leave it up to your Ryan to know that, but at least tell your Ryan that switch has occurred, right? Because Genji can just play with the Ryan and just do whatever. Genji can play with Diva, whatever. But Tracer's a different playstyle, right? If this was a Doomfist, that would change your Ryan's playstyle. If this was, if he had stayed on Zen, that would be a different playstyle. So these switches need to be communicated as well as anything that anybody sees that happens up here. Now, I don't expect you guys to fully utilize, all the strengths and weaknesses of every hero and understand how to completely change how you play the team composition. But at least to start practicing understanding how compositions change, you have to start communicating. Otherwise, you just well, that worked. I don't really know how it worked, but it did work. And that's no good. You missed him. Yeah, I don't think much needs to be said there. Okay, alrighty. You have to be careful when you're playing into Winston D.Va, because a lot of times when you're playing Ryan into Winston D.Va, these guys are just tickle monsters. They're not gonna mess with me. They just they can't do much damage. But remember, the reason why Winston D.Va can be deadly to a Reinhardt is not because of their damage, because their damage sucks against. You've got armor, they can't do anything. But it's this, and it's the Matrix, especially if you're running on it. It just shuts down all healing. You really have to. Although I say that when you're completely out of line of sight, that also shuts down healing. But
shoot through walls. Well,
I can't see, Ryan. I can't see.
Okay.
one thing I want to check with you too. Just make sure, Fady, that you take that as a lesson. You don't play like that. I don't mean just in terms of pulse bomb, but right now you should not be extending for picks. You should not be toying with a D.Va or toying with a Hanzo, because your team, even if you get 2 kills right now, if you kill both these people, that looks like you killed Diana. If you risk anything getting this, if you risk any of these 2 kills, they're gonna come right back, and all you're doing is risking your life. Right now, your life is 10 times more important. Like I just said, this is the problem here. So, Widow is still playing main. There's nobody there. There's nobody. If they're running McCree, Brig, Zen, this is a different story. But they're running Tracer. Tracer can take this 1v1 easily and get away with nobody there.
By the way, it should be ult tracking.
A lot safer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ult tracking would be helpful. Yes. The big thing with ult tracking is if you can all assign each of you to track your equivalent. So in other words, your Ryan tracks the enemy main, your Ana tracks the enemy main support, and just give a guess, right? That will be helpful.
Yeah, way too passive, guys.
What are they gonna have?
Probably Hanzo Dragon. They're gonna be. They're gonna have. Nano.
Also, just point out, I'm kind of new playing Widow, and anything, I'm just kind of new playing Widow at all or Hitscan.
You're doing
So
great.
that's mostly why I'm my positioning is so trash.
Yeah,
because
no,
I
that's
don't
fine.
play.
No, that's fine. You're doing fine, all things considered. Don't sweat it.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
gonna have everything.
Do we dry push?
Yeah, just try to drive.
But yeah, I agree. Oh, that's a rip.
Rip. Tip: when you get stuck with Tracer, I know it can be a
Stand
panic.
still.
Stand still.
Yeah.
Tracer.
Alright, ready?
We're
Go
wasting
fast.
time when you're there.
Go fast.
Yeah, this is also really bad too. Do you guys see what else is wrong with this picture here? Besides this annoying face passing across my screen? What's wrong with the screen besides the Widow?
That we use
Oh, I
speed.
dropped. No, I
Already
yeah,
used
that
amp on
Yeah, that,
Widow.
yeah.
Amp. Now, I don't necessarily blame the amp. You're thinking you're saving your Widow. I blame the play that made you think that you had to use amp. So this positioning error
Yeah,
is,
the
going
Widow,
to,
yeah.
is going to lead to more mistakes being compiled on top of each other.
Use ults, you guys.
The nano is way too early. If you're going to nano a main tank, tell your main tank to go in aggressive, then nano him afterwards. Unless you anticipate him getting getting
melted?
smashed or getting purpled, then he needs to be nanoed early. And also, nano Ryan is really not great against the composition you're running. You're gonna watch kill feed here, and he's not gonna get a single kill out of that.
Yeah, he got booped by this time he actually got booped by Nano Winston.
This is toxic.
Okay, but the point being is this is just a bad target to nano right here. I'm not saying this for your benefit. I'm saying this whoever's recording this. You've got D.Va would be much better here, or Tracer. Now that Tracer's back, Tracer would be significant.
Yeah.
Nano Tracer is scary. Nano D.Va is also scary.
Yes.
Yes. 300 DPS, not even including headshots, if I remember.
So as off
But
support, should I pick that up if Lucio's dead or can't call, or does
Um,
that fall to whoever?
I don't like having one shot caller. You need at least 2. You can have one person who primarily does it. Off support is fine, but somebody else has to pick up the pace there. And that needs to be, and it needs to be any opportunity. And also, this is another comms problem here.
Use ults, you gotta use ults.
So I'll just wait and see. What's the comm problem that you guys see right now?
No targets.
No
Just
one's-
quiet.
Yeah.
No target calling.
It's pretty quiet too, in general.
Okay, that
We
and
didn't-
what?
Oh, we're not tracking kills.
Abilities.
No,
Check out abilities.
no, it's the most obvious answer. Just listen.
Positioning.
I know it's not even asking for help. What face?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh damn.
you have a diva.
Oof. Oh man.
Would the diva be able to help here? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Ana might have died anyway. But does that mean you just write it off? Well, it's GG, right? No, the diva theoretically could have gotten here and assisted your. I mean, you've nanoed the Rhine for crying out loud, so it's not like your Rhine's gonna need any help anymore.
It's on there. So.
That's fine. Did you place Venomine here? Or here?
I think so. I put on the where the cross is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent, good work. I just noticed that. That's
Yeah.
good. That is one of the most
Nice shot.
underused abilities that Widows of Diamonds here.
Or Shatter Diva.
Okay, so here's the thing. Ult combos are cute and all, but like that happens once every other fight at best, right?
I'm saying
You need to be
best
asking
position.
yourself, how do you win the first fight? How do you win? So
Maywall.
Maywall.
Protecting my widow.
Okay, Diva protects Widow. So there's a
Okay,
synergy
I
there.
should be muted.
Ryan plays
Maywall.
around Ryan plays around Maywall.
Discord.
Maywall,
I just
What
disconnected
is
from
your
Discord,
Ana?
that's
So
why
what's
that
the
happened.
what's the reasoning for running Lucio here? Why not Zen? Why not Brig? Why not
Lucio is
Mercy?
good for peel, right?
Yes.
Rotations.
I
Rotate. Yeah. Like
oh,
to collapse on Maywall maybe.
Okay,
And then
that sounds good.
aggression.
So collapsing on Maywall, sure. And what else is Lucio good for? So let's say the Maywall fades or fails, like you screw it up.
To fall back on point.
yeah,
Fall
stay
back on point. Run back. Okay. Now you don't have Zari bubbles to kind of play around with. Lucio. In other words, like Lucio can speed Ryan Zari in with bubbles, then back out without. So that's not as much of a concern. But Lucio can at least speed this unit out. Diva can save boosters to peel for either Ana or for a Widow. Yeah. See, but the thing is like you gotta. The element of surprise is one of the most important things. Like you have to think May is like fundamentally like with her primary fire and ult and like it's not really that great. It's her utility, and surprise is a utility.
No, they're running goats.
Okay, so let's just pause right here. They're running goats. That's fine. That's better than last time because most folks know what goats means. How does everybody play? Let's just break it down. How does your Reinhardt play different playing against goats than just like I don't know a normal comp per se?
Passive.
Because it's the passive, yeah, because it's the May, so just lure them in.
Okay, who does he need for him to be able to play passively? He needs. There's one person on your team that's very important to help him play passively.
May.
Nope.
You know?
Nope.
Lucio.
Lucio. Why? What does Lucio do to help Ryan play passively?
Speed him
Speed
out.
him in and out.
Speed him out. What should Diva be doing? What is Diva's primary role here? Defense matrix, obviously, yes, good. Okay, what is her role in terms of like against goats? She protects her Rhymo, not really. But there's something else that Diva does that's very important.
Booping people.
Sort
out of
of.
position.
But
Burst damage?
specifically against goats. And payload and capture. Stall. She stalls.
Let's get
She plays the ring around the rosy. She drops in, then boosters out. She can booster away. Ryan cannot. So if Ryan steps on the point, he's going to get nuked and die. So Diva is often the one that stalls, and she needs to do so without using her boost. Okay. May does okay against goats. If you can split off goats, then you can isolate a target. Widow needs to be playing from angles. I like to say the way to beat goats is simply just to play ring around the rosy. Just to basically run around, stall as long as you can. Never let them isolate one of you guys and get all 6 of you. Never let them get a 6. And let them get ticks, whatever. Doesn't matter. You just need to win that fight.
Nice.
Maywall's fine. Pretty solid Maywall.
Lucio.
It looks like your Widow is landing some shots too, because that Diva was demeched real quick. Because you
Yeah.
have to understand, like you have to understand, like they're playing goats. Your Ana has to basically stay here, because if she drops to low ground, she's going to become a speed target. Speed to point, and then they're going to speed onto your Ana. So you have to understand where the line of sight of your healers are. You have to understand that you have Lucio heals, and that's it. Can't be overextending like this. Okay, so I'm going to say this for the supports who's listening to this. it is very important that you do, when you're playing against ghosts, that you don't get baited into using your nade hyper aggressively. So in other words, don't throw your nade in poke stages. Don't. Like, it's really tempting to land a big purple, but your team won't be able to follow up on that into goats. You'll just get screwed over. They have multiple ways of cleansing bubbles. Let them press on. Let them like get a tank to critical, or even just let them push out here to where you have more angles and more opportunities to. Then you use nade.
So use it to save them.
Not just to save them, but when there's more opportunity for your team to follow up on it.
Okay.
You know, like they're brawl. Like
After they use
if you
cooldowns and stuff.
after they use cooldowns, and also when it's more likely that your widow can get a beat on them.
Okay, sounds good.
Diva.
Because if you purple them now, they're just gonna speed out.
Ryan, he's creeping.
Okay, so this is important. What am I about to say? Who can read my mind?
What do we do about the switches?
Yes, that's one thing. So what are they switching to? But the second thing has to do with what I'm looking at right now.
What else are we gonna use?
Oh,
What ults are we going to use? Now, there's a very important rule. The rule is plan the ults, but do not force them. Does that make sense? In other words, go into a fight going, I want to use Blizzard, but nobody but your Mei should be deciding when to use the Blizzard. Don't say, Blizzard now, right? Let the Mei decide that, because every person has different circumstances that they're looking for in order to use their ult. This person plays the hero, you do not. So look to use Shatter. Look to use Diva Bomb, if that's what you want to do. Look to use Mei ult. Look to use Nano Boot, right? And then, wait for those opportunities to arise, even if it's just a small window, and then go for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, obviously, sometimes you're going to have to use your instincts. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to use Nano Boost here. Definitely not. And then your Reinhardt's critical. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an opportunity you go for the ult. But you need to at least have a plan for what we're going to aim for using. Okay? Okay, so this isn't really super important, but look at this composition. What have they changed?
Doomfist, Hanzo.
Yeah, DPS.
Doomfist, Hanzo. Why are these two heroes not swapped?
They have ults.
They have ults.
Correct.
Oh.
Watch for my window.
Also, just a really minor thing. But while you guys are practicing tracking ultimates and things like that, you can start tracking cooldowns. One of the most important cooldowns in the game, one of the easiest ones to track too, is look for Zarya bubbles. That's a really good thing to call out.
Yeah.
Just a really basic one to call out, and it's really helpful.
Oh fuck.
Hands up top.
Oh, rip. Nice. I'll just top right.
Oh.
Much.
No, that was lucky.
Huge sun barrier.
We overall to like hell there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't discuss ults, causing us
We
to
didn't need to use some barrier.
use unnecessary
I'll just
ults.
top right.
Sun barrier was a close call.
What happened is like I got booped up twice, legit. Booped
Yeah,
up
yeah,
twice
yeah.
as I was coming down with
Your
it.
diva is also less than half health too, so the sound barrier maybe in a perfect situation wasn't a perfect sound barrier, but I refuse to call it a bad sound barrier. Sound barrier was okay. They also committed coalescence and shatter, so
Nothing.
and they all- and they
No,
also-
we committed Shatter.
you guys know this. I don't know. Okay, so you committing shatter is the real bad one. Everything else is fine. Unless I'm missing something. Was there a big opportunity here?
Starting while Ryan's done.
Ryan.
Ryan?
Oh fuck.
Hands up top.
Oh, rip.
Oh,
I'll just top right.
Okay.
Oh
so
no,
this-
they both.
you do shatter. Okay, so this is the problem. Nothing wrong with the sound barrier, but there's a problem with the blizzard or the shatter. You need one, not both. So what was lacking here was communication, right? I don't have a problem with the shatter. I don't have a problem with the male. I just have a problem with them both. Does that make sense?
Because they're both
Yeah.
CC ultimates.
Well, that's kind of irrelevant. I mean, that's cool.
And it can
stat,
come-
but
it'll
it's
be
like did you need Shatter to win the fight? Maybe, yeah. Did you need Blizzard to win the fight? Maybe, but did you need both? Like you said, definitely not. If you kill the Zarya here, it's over. Or if you get one more kill, it's over. If the Ryan kills one person, two people, it's over. But you don't need both. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Blizzard was fine. The Shadow was fine. Use both? No. And it's not an individual player skill problem that is at fault. Communication. The sound barrier is fine. They did commit Coalescence and Shatter as well, so it's not that big of a deal. So this is a calm problem. What's the problem here? Oh, by the way, whose fault is this that nobody comes help to Doom? Whose fault is this?
Diva.
Diva. Did you know that that's actually completely wrong? You know whose fault this is?
Widow.
Lucio.
She needs to be more vocal about it.
No, not necessarily. There's a very important detail that's lacking in the call.
She could.
Listen,
The Doomfist is slept.
Oh, where?
No,
Where?
I'm right, you call it.
where?
Well,
Exactly. Where? Here? Here?
Something,
Right?
Something the one coach told me that helped me just name location purpose for callouts is important. So
Yeah.
like, Doom slept, but where, right? So
Right.
location.
Right. So it doesn't have to be doom asleep, wooden balcony, 13 degrees, 15 meters behind you. It just say doom asleep on me. I need help. Anna, me, help Anna, help Anna, help Anna. I need help, like something like. Obviously, the Anna's not in the call right now, but you know that is important, and that's an important lesson for all of you guys.
I don't like the honest positioning either. I would just go towards the Ryan or to the.
Well,
Lucio.
here's the thing. The positioning was dictated poorly because positioning is always relative. That's important. There's no hard rules about positioning. You need to know where the enemy team is, and you need to know where your team is. That's the most ugly E I have ever seen in my entire life. Try that again. You need to know where the enemy's team is, and you need to know where your team. Okay. So if your team, this positioning is fine if your team is playing this area right here, right, or playing here or something. The problem is that your team. Remember we talked about the bad rotation earlier. Once your Ana died, you guys are still holding choke. That is now paying us dividends because your Ana is out of position. Yes, but because he's in transition by himself. See this? So he's in transition by himself. He's not able to get back to his corner. He's not able to take advantage of that, and now he gets punished for it.
Doom asleep.
And honestly, like if we're being really picky here, the best move here is probably just to hold on. Like I like to always have a ult in my pocket if I think that we're gonna lose a fight, to avoid getting snowballed.
For Ana here, I would just went near the Diva nated myself in her, then move towards point.
That probably would have been the better decision. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Somebody tell me where this Ana should be positioned.
With the team, I would say.
Yes.
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 Because
Why?
she's going to die by the Lucio Doom.
She's really isolated from the team, so
Yeah.
she should.
That's not a
be staying
problem.
on the high
She
ground.
doesn't have that much sightlines on the team.
That's not a problem with Ana. You're gonna have to remember. Just saying Ana should play with your team or Ana should play away from your team. Both of those are simultaneously true. Why? What's the deciding factor for which one is true in which situation?
If there's gonna be like a brawl or not.
Dive, like if there's a dive on her.
What
Well, if there's-
position? What position the enemy team is gonna
Sightlines?
take?
Well, it depends. Once more, you're gonna see this theme a lot off of what the enemy team is running and off of what your team is running. What effects on it? What heroes right now on the enemy team affect Ana's position?
Doomfist.
Doomfist and Hanzo.
Doomfist. Yeah, Hanzo not so much. Lucio a little bit. How would she have to be aware of what Lucio can bring?
He can,
Speed.
speed
Yes.
on her, boot
Yeah.
off of position.
He can
like,
speed the Rhino on top of her, so she's gonna have to watch out for Lucio not getting too close to the enemy tanks and being aware that when speed happens, that you need to speed back. Okay, that's fine. Now let's look at our team. What teammates, what heroes on our team affect where on his position?
Soldier,
Sure. Who else?
Doomfist.
Not really. Doomfist shouldn't be peeling. Almost never peels.
Lucio.
Lucio?
Lucio, obviously, yes. Playing with Lucio is good. And what else we got here?
Diva.
Diva?
Diva.
Diva, yeah. Play within Diva range. Remember we talked about that with the Widow. By the way, this looks like a butt. What the heck? So,
It's a butt.
Soldier, Lucio, Diva, usually do well when you're playing near enough. Okay. Doomfist will isolate you, but just be careful not to play too close so Lucio doesn't. All right. So this positioning, this is a great Ana position, but it's terrible for this comp. So like I said, positioning is always relative. I do like this though. This is good. Now they're pushing up here. Soldier's a terrible shield break, right? So what do? Well, you take an angle, right? Take an angle, and you're going to use high ground. If anybody focuses you, you're literally just going to turn tail and run, right? and then go back to high ground again. And there's nothing more annoying than having the enemy team push another point, and there's a stupid uncontested soldier behind them. Like, this is good. Good.
Can you
So,
help me in the back? Can you
Look
purple,
at
can
that.
you purple?
okay, so this, listen to the call. Listen to the call.
This is kind of boring.
Yeah, a little bit. You want to solo queue or duo queue?
Okay. Why does your Ana get help here? Why?
Because she called out.
She calls in the back. Genji
Because
in
she
the
called
back.
Genji in the back. So she called out the location, not just the target. Nano Ryan into die precedent sleeper.
Yeah, dude, I was just trying to first sustain.
Nano
since we
visor
were close to the end of the point.
What is it?
Well, if we would have nano advisor, we would have had to get the Winston bubble out and the Diva bubble, and since there was not that much time left, I just figured that Ryan would be able to sustain on point longer.
I mean, I do agree with you that Nano Visor sucks, but there's better options here. Nano Doomfist, Nano Diva. You know, your soldier is getting low, you use Nano. Your Ryan's getting low, you use Nano. Your Lucio's getting low, you use Nano. All of those are better options than just using Nano on a Ryan.
You're using your nanos for as a healing factor, not
No,
I think
know that,
factor.
Yeah, especially
Right.
now.
It's different. It's different now.
Yeah, before.
I'm a nano soldier.
One thing we've got to understand with our communication is we need to be tracking compositionals. No, not even ults. Like, the ults are fine too, but like, I want you first to be tracking compositional changes, and that includes your team and the enemy team. So, enemy team makes a switch, you need to be knowing about it. The entire team needs to know about it. You guys make a switch, of course you need to know about it, and that should be primarily the person who switched. You don't have to be a shot caller to go, "Hi, I switched from Genji to Farah or whatever." Right, and that also needs to be discussed as a team as well. Like, unless you're getting hard shut down, then you need to be going, "Hey, should I go Farah? Should I go Widow? Like what can we do around that?" And then the second thing that we need to be discussing, in terms of like general, is like what's the game plan? Okay, you guys were extremely successful. First point held until your Ana got picked because you had a plan around Maywall. However, there has to be a plan about, like, you're running a Widow. Well, how does that change? Right? You're running Ryan Diva. How does that change things? And you don't have to be correct and a genius and understand everything about team compositions because that takes a long time. But you at least attempt to, right? At least attempt to. And this really ties into exactly what goes on. Hey, they went from, Ryan Zarya to Winston Diva. What's our plan on dealing with that? Right? Like, how are we going to deal with that? And just like, it doesn't have to be like you sit there and analyze it for, an hour. You've got like 10, 15 seconds. Just go, hey, supports play a little bit further back. Right? Or Ryan, all you have to do is wait for bubble and go for the shatter. And we can play off of it. That needs to be the plan. It revolves around what happens up here. And that starts from the beginning of the game. Not just the changes, but the beginning of the game. You want to run goats? What's the plan? Right? You're gonna run, Winston Diva, Ryan, Winston Diva, Zen Lucio, or something funky like that. Genji Tracer, like the classic dive. What's the plan? So, practice plans and execution, and even if they fail miserably, at least you tried. At least it wasn't just poke until something. Does that make sense?
Mhm.